Hello everyone, my name is Chapman and I'm coming to you today from my Dilly bag on the Sunshine Coast, and I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the country in which we gather today and pay my respects to our elders past, present and those emerging, and all of those who are on different First Nations lands across Australia. Today we're going to cook a nice little vegetarian number. I think is delicious, utilising a number of the different products that we make into it. So first of all, we'll start with, we've got about 4 different levels, different elements that are going to go into this particular dish. The first one is an anise, myrtle and orange carrot. So I've got some little baby carrots in here, and we're going to do a squeeze of orange. I'm going to leave all that in too, because I quite like the citrusy flavours. So there we go, I've got a quarter in, and there, nice. Now the other thing I have is the Anise Myrtle. Anise Myrtle has a licorice kind of flavour, it's really delish. So we'll go then with that. Maybe just a sprinkle, half a teaspoon to a teaspoon, just depends. This is very nice. Put that one there. And a little touch of my salt and pepper mix. The pepper we get from Tasmania. A little bit of that. Then what we're going to do is just put it on and cook them up and let them just soften up. You want them a little bit al dente, and we'll get them cooking away. There we go. So we'll leave them to do their thing. The next phase that we're going to bring together is going to be our chickpeas. So we've got chickpeas, onion and some chopped garlic. We're going to use this one today, which is the sunset rub. Very, very delicious. It's full of our native pepper and anise, so we're kind of carrying all those flavours through. And it also has conventional spices like your cumin, coriander, paprika, etc. all in there as well. It smells a little bit like a Cajun spice mix. It's fabulous with our native fauna, our native meats as well. It's delicious. But today we're doing vegetarian, and the other things that we're going to bring into the dish is some chopped canned tomatoes here. We're going to make like a little casserole of chickpeas. Got these going. They're just about done. They don't take very long. The next thing we're going to do is put our pan on and get it nice and hot. There we go. Get it nice and hot. So the next thing is going to go is the onion and chopped garlic. There we go. I like garlic, so it's up to you whether you want to put it in or not. And I'm going to use a veggie stock and a little bit of the chopped tomatoes in. Olive oil in there, chopped onions and garlic, there we go. Just going to saute that off and make it nice and soft, a little bit caramelly and delicious. Then what we'll do is we'll put it in chickpeas. Now these are just canned chickpeas. So you can actually, dry them, boil them overnight and have them soaking, and then boil them up the next day if you want to do the fresh ones. I just find it convenient, we all live in a very busy household these days, so just having the canned ones, just drain them, refresh them a little bit, drain them again, and that's them there. So I hope that everyone might be cooking along with us. All of our ingredients you can get from our website, which is mydillybag.com.au. So we'll pop those in. Ooh, starting to smell really delicious. Then what we're going to do is pop in some of the sunset rub. So I really like it, so I'm like a good old tablespoon. And we're going to pop in. And it's just got that nice little bite of heat to it. This is a really good one to have. As I said, there's 4 elements basically to this recipe, but we'll get Number 2, so once you start to smell all those spices coming through, the heat really helps the spices to come out and marinate through all of your dishes. The next thing is chopped tomatoes. So these are just the canned tomatoes too. These don't look like a little bit of aroma. Tomato. If you've got fresh tomatoes, you can use that too. Okay, here we go. So we're making, what we're trying to make here is a little casserole, a little bit of a wet dish with it. And once you've got all your spices and things together, once you've got all that mise en place there, it's really, really quick and easy to do. I'm going to pop a little splash of veggie stock in, just to wet it up, flavour it a bit. And of course, tasting all along the way is a really important tip as a chef and as a cook. To taste and make sure that all the flavours are coming together. Yep. It needs a little bit of salt. Tomato needs that little bit of salt, plus sometimes it needs a little bit of sugar. But I think we should be right with the native pepper salt flakes. So I'm just going to turn that down a little bit so we get more of a slower cook on it. And just let it casserole so I can see all those lovely flavours all coming together. Oh, that's good. All right. So we'll let that cook out a little minute. The next part of the dish is going to be these mushrooms, because I think chickpeas and mushrooms go really well together. It's a lovely earthy kind of flavours that come out of them. So we've got some portobello, we've got some oyster mushrooms, we've got the wood ear, which is this funny one here, and we've got some Swiss browns as well. Totally up to you what ones you want to use. All right, let's go. So just chop them up, get them nice and, here's that little woodier one, let's give that a go. I think chop it up kind of fine. Get that ready. And I've done a few others in here, some oyster mushrooms. That should be a nice little mix, I think. Delicious. So we're going to saute those in a little bit of the pepperberry oil and just saute them off, and then we're going to pop them in with rice. So I've cooked some rice and some quinoa in here. You can get already pre-done rices if you like, and quinoa. All right, that is looking great. And I think I'm going to pop it into this dish, and we'll keep it for later for serving. So you can see that beautiful, beautiful casserole up there. Here we go. Now, next stage is to saute the mushrooms. So I'm going to give this pan a wash out. So I like to use as little as possible with the pan, so if you can reuse them, repurpose, please do so. Here we go. Get it nice and hot. Then we're going to do a little bit of pepper oil. Now the pepper oil is this one here. It's a macadamia and pepperberry infused oil. Like I said, we're going to try and keep the flavours from the aniseed through the pepper all going through all of the dishes. They'll be very subtle, but they'll all come together. So a little bit of pepper, macadamia pepper oil in there. Lovely. Got that one. Mushrooms. Just get them all sauteing off. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to use this kale. Kale is very good for us in lots of different levels. So this one, we're going to actually fry it off in a little bit of the pepper and olive oil again. I'm going to join olive oil and pepper together, and then we will saute and make it kind of crispy for the top of our dish. So once we bring all this back, in with the rice. Look at that wood is going off here. All right, here we go. If you've pre-done your rice like I have, and you've not just done it minutes beforehand, then I think having a little bit of the stock just to wet that up a little bit to help it moisten is a good idea. We'll put the recipe up for you. I'll send it through, of course, so you can always do this at home later. The orange Anise carrots. Check it again with the seasoning. That's nice. Got a little bit of pepper oil into it. That would be fantastic. I'm going to throw in a little bit of snow peas, just very quickly, and toss it. Just toss it through. They're thinly sliced. I'm going to cook really quick. So that's our third element in the dish. Actually, you could probably just eat this all by itself. It's so good. Okay, there's the other. Pan back on, give it a wipe out. I'm going to get this one a little bit high because we're going to crinkle and get this kale, and we want it to crisp up. So we've got this really crispy little top on the dish. So let's just see. So these are all warm. These are all things that you can either do the day before and get them all in the fridge because it's a lovely dish cold as well. So you don't need to have everything hot. But today we're going to, it's going to be warm. It's going to be warm through. Okay. There we go. And I need some oil. The kale, you know how to prepare kale when you cut down the stalk down the end. And I've just given it a little bit of a chop. Still pretty big though. Like that. You can do this in the oven as well, so you could actually put some oil on them and then pop them into the oven. And they will cook up really nice as well. So, sorry for my beeping in the background. Here we go. Put those in. Ooh, listen to that. So we just want to crisp them up, get them all nice and yummy. They start to change the colour and look good. But the idea is just to crisp them up and get in the oil. If you do them in the oven, 180 oven, pop them on a tray, sprinkle with a little bit of spray of oil, and then just let them bake up for a minute. So I've got a little bit of paper towel, and the paper towel is going to be just to let them dry on there for a minute. As I said, all these ingredients, all these different elements can all be done in advance. Good. Right, a little bit longer. And then it'll be time to bring it all together, which is the fun part, I always think. Okay. So what I've done is I've got a little bit of fresh spinach here, and I've got some parsley as well, some flat leaf parsley. And I've got a little bit of tomato, and it's an optional thing, probably just more as a garnish than anything, but we will use that. Turn that off. So you can see how they're all crisped up and changed colour. So I'm just going to throw them onto there. They'll be nice and ready. So there we go. We've got all of the elements together, and now it's all about how do we get them onto plates and all that. All right. So get yourself a nice bowl, nice platter like this one. And first of all, I think we will do a scoop of the rice. This is probably for about 4 people, I think. It would be a really nice little meal. Could be a little entree as well if you wanted to. Then we've got some of the chickpeas. I'm going to make mine a little bit kind of separate. So there we go with the chickpeas on the top. With the carrot, I'm just going to slither them down the centre and quarter them a little bit. So they'll look like this. And then put them on, garnish them up. Looks delicious. It's got that. A little bit of spinach just around the edge, and I think it's just nice to have that little freshness through it. You could put it through the rice too if you wanted to. I'm just going to throw bits of rocket and spinach around, little bits of parsley over the top, kale on the top, crispy, a couple little bits of tomato, a bit more on the side. And we've got this really great new product. They're little pearls. And this one is beautiful. It's a pepperberry and cherry. So I think we will, when you eat them, they're just divine. Pop in your mouth and just give them a little swoosh with your tongue. And these bursts of native botanicals come out of them. We have a variety of different ones, but I think this will look really nice, perched on top. Actually, this one's probably one of my favourites. Really like it. Okay. So that there is a wild rice and mushroom with pepperberries and a chickpea casserole. Good enough to eat, everyone?